Hi everybody, this is Lisa Haven and I've got some critical information to share with you guys today. Back in July 28th of this year, the International Joint Conference on Artificial Intelligence, also known as the IJCAI, held a conference where many scientists were invited, and at this conference, scientists issued a dire warning letter stating that an unsettling problem could happen in regards to artificial intelligence if something is not done in the near future. Now, what they specifically warned about is that any artificial intelligence that can select or engage specific targets without human intervention could be a real problem in the future. And lots of different scientists and degreed personnel signed this letter, including Stephen Hawking. I think the best thing to do is to dive right in. All right, so here we are on futureoflife.org, and this is the open letter that was announced at the IJCAI conference in 2015. Now, if you want to check out their website, I cannot take you there for copyright reasons. They said you can't record or anything. It's ijcai.org, and I will leave a link below, but you can go and find this there as well. Now, here we are, autonomous weapons, an open letter from AI and robotics researchers. Autonomous weapons select and engage targets without human intervention. They might include, for example, armed quadcopters that can search for and eliminate people meeting certain predefined criteria, but do not include cruise missiles or remotely piloted drones for which humans make all targeting decisions. AI technology has reached a point where the deployment of such systems is practically, if not legally, feasible within years, not decades. And the stakes are high. Autonomous weapons have been described as the third revolution in warfare after gunpowder and nuclear arms. So as you can see, just from that opening paragraph, it's a critical problem, and they are seriously concerned about it. It goes on to state, many arguments have been made for and against autonomous weapons. For example, that replacing human soldiers by machines is good by reducing casualties for the owner, but bad by thereby lowering the threshold for going to battle. The key question for humanity today is whether to start a global AI arms race to prevent it from starting. If any majority military power pushes ahead with AI weapon development, a global arms race is virtually inevitable. And the endpoint of this technological trajectory is obvious. Autonomous weapons will become the Kalashnikovs of tomorrow. Unlike nuclear weapons, they require no costly or hard to obtain raw materials, so they will become ubiquitous and cheap for all significant military powers to mass produce. It will only be a matter of time until they appear on the black market and in the hands of terrorists, dictators wishing to better control their populace, warlords wishing to perpetrate ethnic cleansing, etc. Autonomous weapons are ideal for tasks such as assassinations, destabilizing nations, subduing populations, and selectively killing a particular ethnic group. We therefore believe that a military AI arms race would not be beneficial for humanity. There are many ways in which AI can make battlefields safer for humans, especially civilians, without creating new tools for killing people. Just as most chemists and biologists have no interest in building chemical or biological weapons, most AI researchers have no interest in building AI weapons and do not want others to tarnish their field by doing so, potentially creating a major public backlash against AI that curtails its future societal benefits. Indeed, chemists and biologists have broadly supported international agreements that have successfully prohibited chemical and biological weapons, just as most physicists supported the treaties banning space-based nuclear weapons and binding laser weapons. In summary, we believe that AI has great potential to benefit humanity in many ways, and that the goal of the field should be to do basically that. Starting a military AI arms race is a bad idea and should be prevented by a ban on offensive autonomous weapons beyond meaningful human control. So as you can see, this is definitely a warning letter about future robotics. Now, whether they're afraid from all the Hollywood movies movies that have been out lately about human AI. Or they believe this to be a real threat, which I personally believe they do believe this as a real threat, and rightly so. Robotics and technology, there's all kinds of ways that we can take AI, and eventually they're going to take it, I personally believe, and they already kind of started, to the level of manipulating our DNA. And that's just terrifying to think of in and of itself. We are not to mess with the DNA of our bodies in that manner. God gave us and made us who we are for a reason. Now, I agree that if they start making these kinds of robotic, apocalyptic type of things, then we're going to have some real trouble in the future. If they're sending unmanned, some kind of robot out there to kill, ethnic cleansing or this particular political dissident. Okay, it's possible. Then that machine or that artificial intelligence can go out and do that on its own without having any human intervention. It can shoot and kill at will to who it deems as a threat. That is part of the AI technology. We're headed in that way. Now, I said that there is a list of signers here who have signed this letter, and obviously they're still accepting signatures on this thing. But as you can see, Stephen Hawking's, not that I care for the guy, quite frankly, he is, I believe he's evolutionist and all of that. Obviously, I am not. He's got a lot of stuff with him I don't want to get into today, but I don't particularly care for the guy. But nonetheless, I wanted to show you that his name is on this, along with many, 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 many other people. And this list goes on for a long time. But obviously, they're still accepting signatures, and they're putting this through the futureoflife.org, the website I showed you. Now, I also came across this, and I thought it's a great article that covers the details of this letter, and this is on theweek.com. Now, I'm going to leave a link to this so you can check it out, but I love the title they gave here, Why It's Too Late to Prevent the Robot Apocalypse. And this was put together by James Poloos. I might be butchering his last name, and there's your evil looking AI there. But make sure you come and read this particular link here that I found with it as well. Now, just to give you some news about some of the artificial intelligence, DARPA is creating a lot of things, but I saw this on The Diplomat, which I found from this guy's site. He had a link to it. U.S. Navy to deploy robot ships to track Chinese and Russian sub. This is a type of technological intelligence that they're already using. Then if we go over to DARPA, who has a majority of this stuff, and we know, DARPA works with the government on all kinds of things, and they have been developing lots of AI technology, and among a lot of other things, I should say. They probably developed a lot of the intelligence we see on programs like MK Ultra, the Monarch program. These are brainwashing programs. I'm sure they also had their handiwork in here, but here we have new nanoscale programmable switches that promise faster, more versatile chip scale devices. Interesting there, what they envision for 2013, and all these different things that they kind of have going on at the moment. But you can come here and see some of the things that they're developing here. They have, they have robot races and all kinds of things there as well. Now, here's one last source I want to show you, and I'm going to leave a link to this. I highly encourage you to come here and check this out because it's got some pretty crazy stuff. As you can see here, robotic insects mimic nature's extreme moves. Just think of, the cameras, or I think of the little bugs on Minority Report that would climb up on people and read their eyes. Hopefully you guys watch that. But on Minority Report, they would scan their retinal scan, and they would know who they were. And things like this could accomplish tasks like that. These are creepy, and I think like Minority Report, it's crossing the line of privacy, and these are other things we have to be concerned about. But here we have robots with bacteria controlled brains. That's a little creepy in and of itself, but I don't think we should mess with any kind of part of the human and mix it with that. But 3D robot, hard inside, soft outside, robot controlled remotely with your thoughts controlling this thing. And these are just the top 4 right now of some of the things that they're developing. Think of all the things they have on this site, and I have scanned it. Lots of crazy stuff. Here's artificially evolved robots that efficiently self-organize tasks. Here is another one. Computers detect emotional context in texts. So it can read your text message and know if you're angry, mad, sad, happy, frustrated. Software that can harm you, you think? Yeah, that does exist as well. Then you have some good stuff here. Technology that could help a blind person see. You know, there are good things that technology gives us. You know, when somebody loses an arm, you know, we have technology that can build them another arm or a leg or use devices for that or help blind people. That's great. But I do believe there's certain lines, as that letter stated, that should not be crossed. Lots of things here. So just make sure you get over here and check this out. You'll find it fascinating. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you guys the latest on that. Lots of information to delve through, but we need to be ready because an AI, artificial intelligence, robotic threat is something that we could be seeing in our near future, especially with all the technological advances. If we just consider the past, couple hundred years, we've gone from walking on our feet, and then all the way up to, in the past 200 years, we can go all the way to the moon. We make nuclear bombs. We can split atoms. We can send out plagues. I mean, these are crazy technological advances, and we can communicate in an instant like I'm doing right now through YouTube. Things that people would have never even imagined, 500 years ago. And think about how long we have been here. For 6,000, 7,000 some odd years, all they could do is, the best technological advances that they had were boats and horse and carriage. And then all of a sudden, bang, the past 200 some odd years, we've hit a technological advance. And the Bible talks about this. It tells us in the book of Daniel, I believe, where technology will increase and it will run to and fro. And that is exactly what we're seeing here. But I thought, nonetheless, this was very important, critical to get out to you guys. I'll throw it out there for your suggestions below. I love to read your comments. I may not always have time to respond to them, but AI is definitely something we need to be aware of. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest. This is Lisa Haven signing off.